Everybody knows autumn time is release time. Therefore, a big hello into the world from MVTech headquarters here in Munich on this November morning. It's a very special morning because we are talking today about HALCON 24.11. Happy release day. At first, thank you so much for being here and taking the time for this webinar. My name is Andrea and I'm part of the MVTech's marketing team, and I'm very happy to guide you through this day. So before we start now, a few information. As you are used to it, you will receive the recording after the webinar via a follow-up email. There you will also find the handout and a survey link. In general, just make sure to talk to our experts if you have any questions or any other issues arise. Talking about our experts. Of course, I'm not alone here today, so please welcome my two colleagues, Jan and Bene, for the webinar. So, would you mind to introduce yourselves real quick to the audience?
For sure, Andrea. My name is Jan Gärtner. You might already know me, and I'm the product manager of HALCON. So I'm really happy to show you here today the latest HALCON release features.
Hello everyone, also from my side. My name is Benedikt Würz and I am an application engineer here at MVTech.
All right, thank you. So do you feel ready for the webinar?
Yeah, I feel.
Of course.
Perfect. So I think I take HALCON 24.11 and Bene and Jan, you start.
Yeah, thank you, Andrea.
Enjoy the webinar, everyone.
And once again, welcome to today's webinar. Welcome to the HALCON 24.11 customer webinar. In this webinar today, you will get many information about the latest HALCON 24.11 release. You will learn more about, first of all, a change to our HALCON edition model. So the way how we sell HALCON is now a little bit easier to understand and to use for our customers. Second and most important, today we want to speak about our major features and all the new technologies that we have integrated into HALCON. So new possibilities for you, new options that you can solve different problems now. And last but not least, at the end of the webinar, we have a special release offer for you. As the time for this webinar is really limited and we don't want to go into every detail, we want to inform you that there's more information at different sources, different places. First of all, you can find the presentation handout. You will get it after the presentation in the mailing. Second, we have the release notes, so all the small details like bug fixes, other changes are documented there really precisely. And if you are a steady customer, you can always I would also recommend to watch the previous webinars, because you might switch from HALCON 22.11 to 24.11, and if you only watch this webinar, you will only see the features from HALCON 24.11. But there are many features also from our last releases, which are now part of HALCON 24.11 Steady. One additional remark about the presentation handout. In the presentation handout, you will also find some hidden slides and additional notes with more information about smaller features and improvements. And now let us start with the first topic, the reworked HALCON edition model. You know, or you might know, that we are offering two editions for HALCON. HALCON Steady and HALCON Progress. HALCON Progress is a subscription-based model, and every 6 months we are releasing a new version. HALCON Steady is a one-time buy, and it is released every 2 years. And we have seen from our internal statistics that during the last years, more and more customers switched from HALCON Steady to HALCON Progress, so that they can benefit from the latest HALCON features, get the best performance, and can basically evaluate the latest features. But all those customers, or many customers, who are not switching completely from HALCON Steady to HALCON Progress are facing one problem. And this problem is that these two editions are not fully compatible. What does it mean? When you develop an application with a HALCON Steady edition and you later on switching to Progress and you want to maintain this application, it's not possible and you will get licensing issues. And we think this should not happen when you have a HALCON Progress license. The HALCON Progress license should be capable to do whatever you want. And therefore, we have a plan for this release. We are strengthening the HALCON Progress edition, and from HALCON 24.11 on, HALCON Progress and HALCON Steady will be completely compatible. From a technical perspective, this does mean HALCON Progress and HALCON Steady are sharing the same binary, and HALCON Progress gets the same maintenance updates as a Steady release gets. So for HALCON 24.11, 26.11 in the future, and so on, also the Progress users will get the maintenance updates. To sum everything up, this does mean that from HALCON 24.11, the HALCON Progress edition only has advantages in comparison to the Steady edition. To have a more technical look on this change, so in the past we delivered to you two binaries, a Progress binary and a Steady binary, and you needed a Progress license to unlock the Progress binary, a Steady license to unlock the Steady binary. Now we only have one binary, so less binaries for you to manage internally, and this will also cause less licensing issues. So there are no errors anymore that you put maybe a Progress license into a Steady binary or vice versa. How does it look? Inside our software manager. So from now on in our software manager, you will simply find the combined HALCON 24.11 Progress Steady binary. And no matter if you're a Progress or Steady user, simply put your license inside. This change does only affect the Steady releases. So 24.11, 26.11, for all the Progress only releases, nothing does change. So these are the news about the HALCON edition model. And now we can start with the biggest part of the presentation, the technical features, major features of this release. And I don't want to do this part alone. I want to do this part together with my application engineer, Benedikt, because he is the technical expert and he can explain all the details about the technical features in more detail than I ever could do.
Thank you, Jan.
You're welcome. And yeah, as you can see here, today we have new features in basically all our clusters. So we have more new matching technologies, new deep learning technologies for 3D, for code reading, for image acquisition. We have new things, and we also have really special news on our integrated development environment. So here today I want to start first of all with matching. And for matching this time, we are addressing a problem that you might be familiar with. It's a really common problem for matching applications. So here on the left side, you can see you might have developed an application. You set the min score to 0.6, and then you find a match for a specific image. So the candidate score is 0.74. And then you think, okay, nice, I have 0.74. And if I set now the score higher, I could speed up my application because more candidates are thrown away earlier and my whole overall application becomes faster. But once you set the new min score to 0.7, no matches are found anymore, even if the min score before, or the found score of the found candidate, was 0.74. So why is it? And this is a big pain point, I think, for many customers, because it's really hard to understand what's happening in the back. And Bene, could you explain us what's happening?
Of course, Jan, that's a great question. So to understand this phenomenon, a closer look into the matching algorithm is required. Based on the min score defined by the user, the matching algorithm linearly estimates a level-specific minimal score. And only if the match passes this minimal score on each pyramid level, it is shown as a successful matching result. Changing this min score to gain a speed up leads to a change and in the minimal scores, which in turn might lead to a match not passing the minimal score on higher pyramid levels. Thus, it can happen that a previously successfully found match may be discarded, as you can see here. To solve this problem, HALCON 2411 introduces a new parameter estimation algorithm. In HALCON 2405, a linear estimation of the min score based on the estimation samples was performed. This feature already helped you to approach the sweet spot for the min score when looking for the best runtime and robustness. HALCON 2411 goes even further. It comes with a new estimation algorithm. This per-level estimation algorithm estimates the min score and the greediness on each pyramid level. The new estimation algorithm helps you to achieve the best trade-off between runtime and robustness when determining the level-specific min score. This can be done by better adapting the parameter estimation to the pyramid principle of the matching algorithm. The workflow for shape-based matching remains the same for the most part. At first, you create a new generic shape model. Next, you add several training samples for extended parameter estimation. Then, we train the shape model and can locate it in our search images. What's new is that we can now specify the estimation algorithm and choose the new estimation algorithm per level. If the new estimation algorithm per level is used, the estimated values for the min score and the greediness cannot be inspected in detail. Instead, the string estimated is returned when the values are queried, indicating that the values for each pyramid level have been estimated. This new estimation algorithm brings further improvements for shape-based matching. It leads to a more robust and faster matching on higher pyramid levels. Additionally, in challenging cases where manual tuning of the min score and the greediness parameters was still necessary, the new estimation approach provides a good solution to find optimal parameter values on each pyramid level. Moreover, we noticed some problems with inappropriate choice of the label regions for the extended parameter estimation. For example, if no matches are found inside the label region, or if too many matches are found in the label region, and up until HALCON 2405, such an inappropriate sample definition led to a wrong estimation of the min score, so wrong value. And with HALCON 2411, the handling and feedback for these cases is improved, and now an error is returned containing information about the affected label regions. What do you think, Jan?
Yeah, I think it looks great. And you can see we really focused here on our extended parameter estimation to make the estimated parameters more robust for our customers and to basically create more robust matching applications. So far so good. First topic, matching, that we have seen today. And now we want to continue with the topic that you probably are the most interested about: deep learning. Deep learning is a thing everyone wants to use in their machine vision application. And there are many problems you can solve with deep learning, and one problem looks in the beginning quite simple: the classification of fruits. So, or basically, simply said, classification of any type of error. Here we trained a fruit classifier, and then later on we get back the labels apples and blueberries. So this is quite simple. But one big problem with deep learning classification is if you have another object in front of your camera lens that is maybe unfamiliar or unknown, then it will get the label from a pre-trained object, but this label could be completely wrong. So here, for mushrooms, the classification model simply says apples, but this is completely wrong and you can't find this problem. This problem is called out of distribution data. So you trained your model on a specific data set, and later on during inference, you maybe have data that was not part or does not look the same as your training data. So here, for example, you can see a mushroom, a nut, but for other applications, it could also be maybe the hand of a person below the camera instead of a metal part, and then the machine continues to work. So we want to find this out of distribution data and stop our machines in this case. And therefore, we are also offering now a solution. Bene, can you show us?
Of course, Jan. Thank you for motivating this problem. And the problem, to be more exact, is that up until HALCON 2405, the classification models, as you already explained, predicted one of the classes they saw during training. Now, with HALCON 2411, a classification model is able to recognize out-of-distribution data based on an out-of-distribution score, and then issue an out-of-distribution warning. This warning indicates that the prediction cannot be trusted and should be dismissed. How does that work, you probably ask yourself. Out-of-distribution detection for classification follows the standard deep learning workflow in HALCON, and it can easily be integrated into this classification deep learning workflow. First, we prepare the data. Next, we train a classification model, as always, and now the additional step comes into play. We can fit the model for out-of-distribution detection. Then we evaluate the model's performance for classification and out-of-distribution detection. And last, we integrate the model into our application. Let's have a look at the out-of-distribution detection workflow. In order to fit a model for out-of-distribution detection, of course, a fine-tuned classification model is needed, as well as the original dataset used for training. This dataset should really be the same dataset which has been used to train the classification model. Once we have these prerequisites, there is a new operator that can fit a classification model for out-of-distribution detection. After the model has been successfully fitted to the out-of-distribution detection part, the DL model handle consists of two new keys. One that indicates that out-of-distribution is available, the OOD available, and one that defines an internal threshold, which is then used to decide if a given sample is out of distribution or not, the OOD threshold. And remember, no out-of-distribution data is needed for this step, for the fitting of the model. However, the out-of-distribution detection workflow offers a possibility to add out-of-distribution data to evaluate the model. This way, you can make sure that the out-of-distribution detection is working as expected. To do so, the user must add out-of-distribution data to the DL dataset with the new procedure add DL out-of-distribution data. To perform the evaluation and display the evaluation results, the standard procedures evaluate DL model and dev display DL classification can be used. We also support standard evaluation metrics which you already know for out-of-distribution detection, such as a confusion matrix or the precision or recall score. Additionally, the user can visualize a histogram with in-distribution data on the left and out-of-distribution data on the right side. This histogram can guide you in finding the optimal threshold and displays threshold suggestions. Finally, for inference, the standard operator apply DL model can be used. If the predicted OOD score is higher than the OOD threshold, the OOD result will be set to true, indicating that the sample is out of distribution. All of these parameters are part of the DL result handle. Then, to display the result, the existing procedure dev display DL data can be used. And the out of distribution warning will be issued, as you can see here in the image. Here we have a benchmark of apply DL model with different hardware, comparing the inference time of the model with out of distribution detection to the one without out of distribution detection. As you can see, the out of distribution detection does not add much to the inference time, but of course you can expect a small increase when using out of distribution detection. What do you think, Jan?
Yeah, so good solution. I think could solve the problem for our customers. So whenever there's something unfamiliar, unknown, or could be something unfamiliar, unknown below the lens, then this technology might useful for you. This is our new deep learning feature for HALCON 2411. And often when you think about HALCON deep learning, you're also thinking about another MVTech product that you might already use. And this product is called the Deep Learning Tool. And for the Deep Learning Tool, this December we are releasing a new version called Deep Learning Tool 2412. And for this tool, again, we also have new features here. So we have, for this time, focused on OCR. So we implemented auto-labeling for our deep OCR technology, which really speeds up the overall labeling processes of text images. Then we have integrated the OCR, deep OCR training for the recognition and the detection model of our deep OCR. And last but not least, we have a smart segmentation labeling in the second iteration. So it's now even better, faster, and more robust. Let us have a short look in how the new deep OCR auto-labeling does work and look like. Here on the left, you can see a GIF that basically shows how you can use this technology. So at the top of every image, you have the menu bar, and there you will find a button. When you click this button, automatically all text areas in the image are selected. And there's also a proposed label for each text area for the text inside. And then you can simply confirm or reject depending on if the label is right or wrong. And you can also correct the label if you want to. So it really speeds up the overall labeling process. And you have also some new sorting options to label these pre-labeled images. So faster deep OCR labeling. The second thing is the updated smart segmentation labeling method. So we updated it from version 1 to version 2, and version 2 now overall improved the accuracy and it's way more responsive. So with the first module, you have had to click on the object and you could refine the model with the object with the labeled area with multiple clicks. But after some clicks, the model really got slower. With the version 2 of the smart segmentation labeling, this doesn't happen anymore. It's it's faster, more responsive, and it's also capable to have more refinement steps during the labeling process. Here, it's especially made for segmentation problems and instance segmentation problems. New deep learning tool version coming out in December this year. So, deep learning. We have seen deep learning and matching. And the next topic, 3D, is, I would say, this time slightly connected to deep learning or strongly connected. Let us speak about 3D. One task for 3D applications that is required most of the time is a precise localization of parts in your production. And it's required for many applications that could be pick-and-place applications, automated part handling, bin picking. So for all these applications and even other applications, it's required to know precisely where a specific part is. And as this task is required for many years now, so even 10 years ago, a precise localization was required, or HALCON already provides multiple technologies to solve this problem. So we already have in our library, for example, the surface-based matching. Surface-based matching is really precise, but it requires 3D data. And 3D data could be expensive because you need a 3D sensor instead of 2D cameras. And then you think, okay, then I will use 2D cameras. And also here we have two technologies that you could already use. The one is the planar shape-based matching, but this technology has the limitation that it only works on flat surfaces. So it cannot find every type of objects. And once again, you think, okay, but HALCON already offers a technology to find any type of part in a 2D image. And this technology is called shape-based 3D matching. But also here we have a limitation because it only works on 2D data and only on one 2D camera. And now I would not say combined these problems, but we thought about what can we do to remove the problems and provide a new technology that has more benefits. Bene, how does it look like?
Yes, that's a great question. So yeah, we can proudly announce with HALCON 2411 a new approach, deep 3D matching. And deep 3D matching uses deep learning to accurately detect objects in a scene and obtain the 3D poses. For deep 3D matching, we simply need a set of inference images showing different views of the scene and a pre-trained pose estimation model. When applying the model on the scene images, we can then obtain the 3D poses of the trained objects. And therefore, deep 3D matching offers a number of advantages. It offers a cost-effective setup without expensive 3D sensors. It is easy to parameterize. And due to the multi-view approach, it is particularly effective for complex scenarios such as variations in object appearance or occlusions, or when you have noisy data available. It also allows us to use vacuum grippers and finger grippers for bin picking applications. With HALCON 2411, we will only bring the inference of deep 3D matching into our product. With the next release, HALCON 2505, you will also be able to train the model yourselves. But for now, the pre-training of the model will be performed by us here at MVTech. And you just need to send us a CAD model file of your object, and then we will create synthetic data and train the deep 3D matching model. In your setup, you only need to take care of the multi-view camera calibration and the image acquisition. The calibration is only needed when using the setup for the first time or when the setup is changed. And once you perform the calibration and acquire the images of the scene, you can apply the deep 3D matching model trained by MVTech and obtain 3D poses of the objects. Let's have a closer look at the deep 3D matching inference workflow in HALCON. First, we read the pre-trained deep 3D matching model. Next, we set the model parameters, for example, the camera parameters or the minimum matching score. We also recommend to optimize the networks for AI² interfaces in this step. Then, we apply the deep 3D matching model to obtain the 3D poses. Inputs are the acquired images of the scene, and output are the scores, poses, and camera indices of the found instances. Lastly, we can inspect and visualize the results. We also provide a standard example of the deep 3D matching workflow. So go ahead and try it out.
Yep, and we definitely want to motivate to try this feature out, because we think with the deep 3D matching you can reach accuracies and speed that wasn't possible to reach before. And if you are interested in this technology, you can simply contact your sales partners or MVTech directly and ask for a free evaluation. We will train this model and we'll send it to you, and then you will see if this technology works for you. And as mentioned before, the whole own training will be possible with the next HALCON release. So here you will have this options to train the model yourself. So great new technology, new options for you. And there are new things as well for 3D, isn't it?
Yes, there are even more new features in the area of 3D. So you probably all know step files, and step files can contain definitions of independent bodies. With HALCON 2411, the new parameter split level of the operator read object model 3D allows each body of a step file to be imported as a HALCON 3D object model. If the parameter is set to 0, the file is imported as a single model with the value 1. The model is roughly separated into multiple bodies, as you can see here, and then setting the split level to 2 separates the model at an even more detailed level. We have another new feature. So with HALCON 2411, we now also provide a generic ASCII reader for 3D object model data in tabular form. There are many different ASCII file formats. Some can contain 1 point per line. For some others, the columns can contain X, Y, Z coordinates, and even additional attributes like the X, Y, Z normals, intensity values, RGB values, or more custom attributes. And to cover all of these file formats and other user-defined formats, Read Object Model 3D now also provides the option to choose the file type generic ASCII. As always, you can find additional information on how to use this in the documentation, and furthermore, we also do have the HDevelop standard example, Read Object Model 3D generic ASCII, and you can check it out for more details. What do you think? What do we have next, Jan?
Yep, we basically already now have seen 3 of our 6 clusters matching deep learning 3D, and in every cluster a new technology. Now we're going over to more the improvement side. So code reading, we are not developing a completely new code reader, but maybe a better one. And so here I want to continue with code reading. And for code reading, this time we focused on the QR code reader, because we think this is the one type that most of our customers are right now interested in for their applications, and it's really important next for sure for the data metrics and ECC200 code. And this time we focused on really code reading on complex images. Complex means a lot of noise, many codes inside, and the improved QR code reader works especially also for micro QR, as you can see here at the top right, or for dot printed QR codes. And as I said, we improved the QR code reader. And this time we've especially focused on the problem that let us say previous QR code reader proposed too many candidates. So here I want to give you an insight what happened behind our QR code reader so that you can understand better the improvement. When we inspected this image with HALCON 2405, you can see that we see way too many candidate regions. And because too many, or why too many? Because most of the candidate regions are simply wrong. And too many candidates significantly slow down your application. With HALCON 2411, we improved our candidate finder that it now only suggests more robust candidate areas. And this really has a big improvement on the execution time. So, two more images here. For example, it works now way better on images with a lot of noise, many candidates. For example, here with 2405, there are some QR codes missing. And with 2411, all codes can be found, especially in this type of images. Another improvement we have here is for dot printed QR codes. There also we can see now that they can be read with 2411. But to give you some more options to customize the QR code reader, there are also some additional parameters you can tune and that you should be aware of.
Yes, absolutely right. So it already looks like a big improvement. And additionally, you can set the parameter candidate selection for 2D data code models. And it controls the number of candidate regions that are used for the symbol detection. And setting this parameter to extensive increases the number of generated candidate regions, and thus also the likelihood to detect the code you are looking for. When this parameter is set to all the possible candidate regions are used. And if the candidate selection is set to default, less candidate regions are used in general, as you can see on these three pictures here. And there's another parameter in HALCON 2411, the symbol search. And the parameter symbol search controls the complexity of the pyramid search in find data code 2D. It should only be changed in very specific cases. For example, when you have simple images. That means images that contain symbols with high contrast and large quiet zones, and images with a very homogeneous background. For these cases, you can set the parameter to rudimental and gain a speed up. On the other hand, are very complex images. That means large images with highly structured backgrounds, or cases where more candidates need to be considered. For these cases, you can set the parameter to exhaustive to really detect all the codes and all the also complex variants of the codes. We conducted a benchmark here with these QR code improvements, and the results show that reading QR codes is significantly faster in HALCON 2411. But not only the QR code reader received a speed up. With HALCON 2411, also the data matrix and dot code reader have been sped up on ARM architectures. Yes.
That's right.
What's next?
What's next? So code reading is faster and more precise now with HALCON 2411. And now we want to speak about image acquisition and data handling. Image acquisition is a thing that is really important for developing machine vision applications. It can be really difficult if there are many problems with the hardware, and it's really hard to debug and find problems, but it's also good if you know that you use a software that deals with almost any camera. And HALCON does this, And HALCON does this because HALCON supports the common standards like GigiVision. And with HALCON 2411, we want to, or we will upgrade from GigiVision 2.2 to GigiVision 3.0, the new standard for image acquisition. And this upgrade has benefits from you, because with GigiVision 2.2 there had been several limitations. For example, with GigiVision 2.2, the bandwidth was basically limited to around 10 gigabit. The reason behind is that when you're sending images from the camera to the computer, every UDP package must be handled by the CPU. And the higher the resolution, the more bandwidth is required and the more workload has to be processed by the CPU. And that this really slows down your overall systems. And in conclusion, nowadays the limit is around 10 gigabit per second for GigiVision 2.2. Most of the time, or it's not necessary to have this processing of UDP package on the CPU. For image acquisition, GigiVision 3.0 solves the problem. And how does it do it? Now with GigiVision 3.0, direct memory access is used, and instead of processing by the CPU, a supported network card can directly write the images into the memory. And this, on the one side, reduces the load on the CPU, and it allows you to reach way higher bandwidth. Like here, theoretically, up to 400 gigabit per second. In real application, it's more than, it's around 100 gigabit per second, but it always depends on your hardware setup. For this GigiVision 3.0 standard, a specific network card is required. More and more network cards support this standard, but still not every network card. And we are working closely together with many companies to verify that HALCON really works with this network card, so that you can rely on this acquisition interface. So it allows you to speed up and increase the bandwidth of your cameras. So new interface. And another thing about data handling we have for you.
That's right. Thank you. This data handling improvement concerns parallel programming. And when performing parallel programming in HALCON, different threads might work with the same dictionary. And in this case, the user must ensure proper synchronization. Up until HALCON 2405, this was done by locking the synchronization mutex, then modifying the dictionary, and unlocking the mutex afterwards. Now, with HALCON 2411, we introduce a new mechanism that allows dictionaries to synchronize themselves, so the mutex mechanism is not needed anymore. But be aware, this automatic synchronization is only valid at dictionary level and if different keys are changed. So an uncontrolled manipulation of the same dictionary key is still considered to be a bad programming pattern in parallelization, and HALCON does not prevent this.
Yep, thank you, Bene. Now we have seen all the new features. But there's one thing I really wanted to put at the end, because it's something completely new. And it's about our integrated development environment. You might have asked, there hadn't been any great new things about our integrated development environment, HDevelop, in the last years. Or the last year. What was happening in the meanwhile? So let us first have a look on HDevelop. Many of our customers, or I think most of you, are using HDevelop for machine vision prototyping, because HDevelop allows you to really do machine vision prototyping in a short period of time. It has great data visualization, so a graphics window on the right side, options to visualize 3D data. It secondly has the possibility, which is kind of unique, that you can do interactive development. So step by step, you can go through your code, you can edit your code and then directly continue the execution. So this is really unique to HALCON and HDevelop. And last but not least, we have many machine vision assistants, like for example, the image acquisition assistant, which makes it really easier for you to develop your applications. But then we also received the feedback that you wanted to have more. And more means multiple aspects. You told us during the years that you want to have more common coding principles. To be here more precisely, you asked, hey, why are you using XML as a file format? It would be easier for us to use plain text, because then we also can use version control systems. This is one thing, and another thing is that we want to have more familiar language features. For example, Python has for each loops and stuff like this. HALCON and HDevelop doesn't offer it. Can you integrate it? And yes, we want to. Then we asked for a better code editor. You might use Visual Studio Code or Visual Studio, and there the syntax highlighting is more familiar to you. And you have maybe a better auto-completion or other code editor features that you also want to have in HDevelop. Last but not least, you asked for a modernized experience. New users to HDevelop, like even if you like HDevelop, after a certain period of time, you think like it's the fastest way to prototype machine vision applications. New users often the first moment think it feels different than other IDEs. And this makes it hard to onboard new users and to increase the productivity really fast. And all these topics we want to now address with the successor of HDevelop. And therefore, we want to give you a first preview of what we are implementing right now, what we are doing, and what are our plans.
That's right. So HDevelopEVO really combines valued elements, as you just said, of HDevelop with well-known elements of other popular IDEs. And here in the middle you can see the welcome screen, and on the right side you can see the familiar graphics window, and on the left side you can see the new File Explorer. Let's have a closer look at the File Explorer. With the File Explorer you can organize your workspace and manage image data as well as your application scripts, all in one place. Now, the heart of every IDE, the code editor. The code editor allows you to insert code snippets off the shelf to solve small machine vision tasks, like the barcode snippet in this example. It also offers operator suggestions and provides helpful information about the operators and parameters. Moreover, the code editor supports code folding and inline procedures. You can display files in split view and navigate the code with just a few clicks. And last but not least, the code editor also supports multi-cursor editing. Of course, also HDevelopEVO will have debugging functionalities. You can step through the code line by line and use the graphics window for further analysis. You can set breakpoints, and you can use the uniform variable display in a tree structure for further debugging. What do you think, Jan?
Yeah, this was basically a first overview of what we did in the last year and what we are working on. So I would call it a preview. And this preview we also want to provide to you to get early feedback from you. So you can try out the new IDE together with HALCON 24.11. You can try out the new functionalities that are inside and basically test if it fulfills your requirements. As it is a preview and it's in really early stage, please understand that it's not feature complete. So it doesn't support or doesn't have the same feature set as HDevelop. We are working on it, and our plan is that in the next 1 to 2 years it will replace HDevelop. But until then, I would recommend to not use it in production systems. Please use HDevelop whenever you have like real work to do, and if you're interested into the latest features, you can always try out HDevelopEVO. We are also planning to have shorter release cycles here, so the next release of HDevelopEVO will not be with 24.05, the next HALCON release. No, in between you will get updates as well. And now the big question, how can I try HDevelopEVO? So it's simply a package inside our existing HALCON installation. So when you install HALCON, you can select Development Preview HDevelopEVO, and then this version is installed together with your HALCON installation. And then you will find HDevelopEVO 24.11 inside the software manager. When there are any updates, you will see the bell. And how can I use HDevelopEVO? There you will find a Getting Started guide inside the HDevelopEVO documentation. And one question we have is if you have any questions, please ask us. You can always contact your sales partners or our customer services team. And if you have feedback regarding the features that are inside, any other requirements, feel free to give us feedback. There's a feedback button inside HDevelopEVO and another one in the menu. And now try it out and get your hands on HDevelopEVO. With that, we are basically at the end of the presentation. As we sum it up here, we have many new things inside the release, a better extended parameter estimation, out of distribution detection, deep 3D matching, completely new technology. We improved our QR code reader, have the support for GigiVision 3.0, and we'll have the first preview of our new development environment, HDevelopEVO. Before we go over now to the survey and the Q&A, I have a last information for you, and this information is that we have a special release discount on HALCON Progress. So on every new HALCON Progress subscription for the first year, you will get 50% off, and this is valid as well for MVTech license server SDKs. The discount starts from the 1st of December this year, and you can subscribe for a HALCON subscription for the discount price until January 15th next year. So please, if you want to switch to Progress or get the latest features, you can buy HALCON Progress. And now we have a short survey. We will post the link into the chat, and it's like a 3-minute survey, and in 5 minutes we will get back here for the Q&A session.